Hey guys, it's Sal here, and today we're going to be doing a weapon review of the AEK-971 Assault Rifle. So coming from Battlefield 3, the AEK was considered by some to be the best gun in the game, though that was contested by the M16A3 and of course the M416 of the assault rifles. Now, the AEK is, I'll tell you, it is a beast in Battlefield 4. This thing just rips in close quarters. I thought the ACWR was good, but 900 rounds per minute. That is a lot, and as you can imagine, it has a lot of kick, so it is pretty hard to control, but once you can master this weapon, it is ridiculously good in close quarters. Now, 900 rounds per minute is a lot, and it sounds just as good as it is, though almost every other stat to this weapon kind of takes away from the ease of use, I shall say, just because almost everything just makes it a little more difficult. It's got a high vertical recoil, high horizontal recoil. The reload time is nothing to be crazy about. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty long. So there are a lot of learning curves you need to overcome with this weapon. And when I first started using it, I was kind of overwhelmed just because I was using the AK-5C before, and that thing is it's like a child's toy compared to this weapon. This weapon is definitely something you want to work towards, as it is, as I said, it's hard to control, so it is definitely requires a lot of recoil negation. So if you've got that down, go ahead, go for the AEK. But if you're just starting out the game, I might recommend going with something else and just learning to balance your recoil on other weapons and then work your way towards the AEK. I have a video on my channel about compensating for recoil, but this weapon is just something that you want to work towards, as I said. Now, I found that the best way to use this weapon is on infantry only maps, just because at any sort of range, that kick just makes this gun almost impossible. I was playing Domination earlier, and even if the guy is not that far away and you are burst firing, they are still pretty hard to hit, just because this gun does kick a lot, and it is strictly designed for close quarters only. Any sort of range, this gun will fall extremely short, so you really want to pick your engagements wisely, and I would not advise using this weapon on any map that is bigger than Domination or perhaps Conquest on Operation Locker, just because it is an infantry only map. But a general good rule, if there's vehicles on the map, stay clear of the AEK, just because it is not suited to open combat like other assault rifles are. So the AEK-971 is definitely a weapon that has its niche, and its niche is very small, and that is close quarters, and I mean extremely close, but it does it extremely well. So close quarters, if you want a gun that will just hold its own against literally everything except maybe the FAMAS, the AEK-971 is just ridiculous. It's almost unfair. I know when I first started using it, and this was actually my first game with the gun on Operation Locker here, I was thinking, this gun is unfair. I mean, right here, I peek around the corner and I see this guy. Not this guy. Wait for the next guy. Wait for it. The reload. The advance forward. He just melts. It's almost unfair. So this weapon is extremely powerful, and it's a lot of fun to use once you figure it out. Now, there are definitely some things that you can do to tame the AEK, and I found that in order to do that, I liked having the muzzle brake coupled with the stubby grip or the potato grip. Now, what the muzzle brake does is it decreases your vertical recoil, and I'll tell you, this gun has a lot of it, so that's going to be an attachment that you would definitely want. And what the stubby grip does is it just kind of balances out that loss of accuracy, though in full automatic fire, a loss of accuracy at close range isn't that big of a deal. So even then, you're not really losing out on that much compared to the amount of recoil that you are negating. And for my sight, just preference, I happen to have the Cobra sight, which is nice. I mean, I would obviously prefer the Coyote just because it is still low profile, but I mean, I'll take what I get. Now, as far as the accessory slot, I decided that the laser sight was kind of the perfect attachment just for that slot, just because this weapon is close quarters, and if you're going to be in close quarters, chances are you're going to need to hip fire at some point, so you might as well be as accurate as possible with those hip fire shots. Now, with the AEK, if you are able to land all of your shots, you will outshoot pretty much everybody. This weapon fires extremely fast. You will find yourself not losing very many battles, as I said, except to maybe the FAMAS, just because that does have the higher higher rate of fire at 1,000 rounds per minute, not frames per second. Just because that weapon is probably the only weapon that actually will outgun you, but for the most part, you will outgun almost anybody, considering you can land all your shots. So despite being a little hard to use and hard to get used to, the AEK just shines above pretty much every other assault rifle in close quarters, and generally assault rifles are used in close quarters, so I mean it doesn't fit that long range quite as well as some of the other weapons, but up close, like an assault player should be, the AEK works perfectly. So I'm going to give the AEK a 5 out of 5. So I know I've given out a lot of 5s, that won't always be the case. I've just been reviewing a lot of my favorite guns, so that is why the plethora of 5s have been coming your way. So that just about concludes today's weapon review of the AEK-971 Assault Rifle. So if you've liked this video, please like it, I appreciate that, and if you want to see more Battlefield 4 content and videos, subscribe to my channel, that is the place to be. And if you want to see a weapon review of a weapon that I have not reviewed, leave a comment, I'll take a look at those, and I'll probably do the top rated one or multiple of thus mentioned. So guys, I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.